Good evening. Welcome to this amazing evening's Zoom call. Hitkariji, Shivoham, Kumar Swami, Sanjay Das, Motkula Anand with the mask, Rajaratnam, Girish and Amma, Shivoham, Ajitek Dadda, Avinash, Sudeep, Bhargava, Vagesan, Rekha, Shruti. Welcome to the call, my dear friends. Ashok Chotwani, Surinder Goyal, welcome back. कोमल प्रभाकर मैं भी कोविड नेगेटिव हो गया लक्ष्मी गौतम अशोक अशोक you're looking smart doesn't look like there's any virus welcome ashok samita gupta shivoham sangam gupta rais welcome from kashmir kishan and the rest of you I can't see dr ruchika singh shivoham shikha singh rajan divya Shivoham and welcome to the call. This Zoom call is going to zoom in a few minutes. Veena, Shivoham, Shankar, Vipul, Sangam Gupta again. And those of you whom I cannot see, many of you are on the call, but I can't see you, so I can't greet you because I cannot greet unless I see you. So welcome and let's enjoy an amazing evening because these days the evenings are so-called locked down. Most of us experience what is called locked down, but our head must not be locked down. Our head, if the head gets locked down, then we end up in a lockup. You know what's a lockup, right? So this lockdown reminds me of a lockup because it's like putting some people in prison. And I'm hearing that in Bangalore they're going to announce very shortly 2 more weeks of lockdown. So today Krishna Sarma is not here, but every week we ask you a question. Are you moving forward on the enlightenment journey? So if there's anybody who has a question on the enlightenment journey, you must ask me now, because it is to do with this book. And this book is something that we have given you. Many of you have this book. This to me is a treasure because this is nothing to do with me. It is your life book. It is your book. It is your book that will take you to enlightenment. Because without this book, honestly, not because it's got air on it, but without an enlightenment life book, you can't get enlightenment because enlightenment is about asking, investigating, realizing the truth. Therefore, either you have any questions, you ask me now. And if you do not have any questions now, then you can ask me later. But you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to ask me questions. And I'm happy to answer any question on enlightenment. I don't believe that there are any questions up to now. So we'll take them in the end. Today, we are going to talk to you on a very interesting subject. And the subject is called how to flip over from NEP to PEP. Today's not a very direct air subject. I wrote this book about 15 years back. I wrote this book 15 years back. It was one of the first books I've written, not when I had evolved on the spiritual journey. But I thought it's important because people tell you, think positive. How many books have you seen in the library, in a bookshop, which talk about how to be positive, how to think positive? No, they don't tell you how. They just tell you think positive. Today, I'm going to give you a scientific explanation of how you can flip over from NEP to PEP. You know, I don't know how many of you have heard of this very, very famous story. I'm sure that you have heard of it. Rajaratnam and Ajitek. Have you heard of the 2 salesmen who went to Africa? Have you heard that story? No, Ajitek, let me tell you, Ajitek likes stories. So there were 2 salesmen who went to Africa. Both were from Hong Kong. Both were carrying samples of slippers from China. Both landed in the same airport in Africa. Sudeep, have you heard this story? Two salesmen, both from Hong Kong, both carrying the same samples, both landing the same airport in Africa. both going to sell slippers. One person lands in Africa and he calls his company and he tells, "Sir, why have you sent me to this God-forsaken country?" And the man says, "Why? What happened?" He said, "Sir, you wasted your money. You wasted your money. You got me a ticket. You got me a hotel. I've come here all the way." So the general manager asked him, "What's the problem?" He said, "Sir, I have bought 4 bags of samples. But are we fools? In Africa, not a single person is wearing a slipper. Nobody is wearing a slipper. Why did we? I should have gone to some other America or gone to Europe. Why did you send me to Africa?" Just as he kept the phone, the next salesman was calling the general manager. "Sir, you gave me 4 bags of samples. I need 40 bags. 4 bags are not enough. Nobody is wearing slippers in Africa. Nobody is wearing slippers in Africa. I need more samples. There's a huge opportunity." My friends, both the salesmen had the same samples. Both went from the same city of Hong Kong. Both went to the same airport in Africa. Both had the same market. One was positive, one was negative. So this is an introduction to the subject, how a positive person can make their life amazing and how a negative person can destroy their life. It's in our hand. Today I will teach you something I wrote 15 years back. And today I will guide you something I have practiced for more than 25 years. NEP versus PEP. I will not only tell you think positive, but I will show you how to think positive. I will show you an easy way. I will explain to you what is the meaning of positive thinking. I will tell you how you get stressed and worried. I will explain to you how to flip from NEP. NEP, N-E-P is negative energy poison, to PEP. PEP is positive energy power. So you flip from NEP to PEP. I will explain to you that you all have a factory in your head. This factory is a thought factory. It's producing thoughts constantly. It's like a popcorn machine. Have you seen a popcorn machine when you go to eat in the theater? Or have you seen the popcorn, how it goes? Gautam, do you eat popcorn, Gautam? So you go to a popcorn machine and it's popping thoughts and popping, pop, 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 pop. But sometimes it pops salted popcorn. Sometimes it pops caramel popcorn. What makes the popcorn different? It depends on the raw material. It depends what you feed into the popcorn machine. So is that right or wrong? If you put salted corn, it will give you salted popcorn. If you put caramel corn, which is marinated in caramel, it will pop caramel. Of course, another way of doing it is to make the corn and then put the caramel on the top. But I'm trying to explain to you how the raw material is important. So today, for the first time, our Zoom call is going to be more a presentation. My voice will be there, but I'm going to show you a presentation on how to flip from NEP to PEP. It's a very, very important presentation. So for a few minutes, you will be with me and we will go through this presentation on how to flip from NEP to PEP. The question I have to ask you is this: can you think positively all the time? Is it possible to think positively all the time? You'll say no, because the mind, sometimes it thinks positive, sometimes it thinks negative, right? It's not that you can control the mind all the time. Sometimes it just refuses to think positive. But my question to you is there a way to think positive all the time? And the good news is, there is. If you pay attention to today's presentation, you will discover a way where you can think positive all the time. There's a way you have to discover this way, because everybody doesn't know how they can take charge of their thoughts. There is a method. When have you last got angry, irritated, worried, impatient? Is it rare? People say, I got angry this morning. I got irritated just now. I mean, uh, I told that guy that, it's 10 o'clock will be locked down. I want bread and you please give me bread. And before you close the bakery, I want bread. And the guy didn't give me bread. He closed the bakery. Now what will I feed the children in the house? I got so angry. I got so irritated. Yeah, because I expected that bakery to be responsible. When I asked the bakery to give me bread, why did he not give me the bread? So this is the problem, that we sometimes get upset and we get irritated because people don't do what we expect them to do. So, well, how do you control this? How do you control getting angry, irritated, impatient? How do you do it? By controlling your thoughts. But the point is, how do you control your thoughts? What creates thoughts? The mind, like I told you, is the thought factory. It produces thoughts. It produces both positive thoughts and negative thoughts, just like a popcorn machine. The popcorn machine will produce both salted popcorn and caramel popcorn. And you want cinnamon popcorn. In America, people love to have cinnamon popcorn. Like in India, if you ask them, they'll say, give me makhan wala popcorn. Everybody has got their own priorities in terms of their tastes and their preferences. So yes, the mind can produce both. But unfortunately, just like we can take a screwdriver and we can tighten a nut and a bolt, can we put a screwdriver into our head, to our mind, and control the thoughts? Does this image make you understand? Can you directly go to your head, into your brain, into your thought factory and control thoughts? You can't. You can't control directly, but you can influence your thoughts. How can you influence your thoughts? Through your attitude. A lot of people use the word attitude. Attitude. Oh, you have an attitude. Change your attitude. Attitude. But people don't understand the meaning of attitude. What is attitude? Let us stop to understand, because in this presentation from NEP to PEP, you have to understand the meaning of what is an attitude. An attitude is the way you behave. It is the way you respond, the way you react. This is what an attitude is. So when something happens, your attitude is your reaction. You told the bakery guy to give you bread. He didn't give you bread. What was your reaction? What was your attitude? What was your response? You got angry. तुम्हारा दिमाग है कि नहीं है? What do you have in your head? You have garbage in your head. This is what we would tell somebody, right? Why we would tell that? Because we got so upset. We got so irritated. This is the challenge. So we have to be able to control our attitude. And the challenge is 9 times out of 10 times, we can control our attitude. Once out of 10, it's impulsive. You can't. But 9 out of 10 times, you can. Let me share one of my favorite stories. Let me share this story. It's a nice story. You've not heard this kind of discussion before. So today I'm going to tell you another story. There was a man, and this man was having a meeting with a bunch of investors from Korea. So this man was having Koreans, and the Koreans had come all the way to to watch his presentation. And so you see on your screen, this man had bought a brand new shirt and a new tie, because he was going to get some, I don't know how many millions of dollars or crores. I don't know how many crores. I'm not sure the exact amount, but he was going to get a lot of money from these Koreans. They had already got the discussion, and he was going to meet these Koreans, and he was having breakfast and preparing. He had got his laptop ready. He had a presentation to make to the Koreans, and he was sitting and reading his papers. And then what happened? His wife came and said, "Good luck to you." And as he was having his coffee, she brought the little baby, his little boy, and she brought the boy close to him and said, "Wish Papa good luck." And as he was saying good luck, his hand touched the coffee cup and the coffee spilled on the shirt. Oh, the entire shirt, the newspaper, the papers were full of coffee. You know how coffee spills. And this man was so upset. This man picked the boy and pushed him on the chair, and he told his wife, "I know you can't help me in anything in my life, but don't be so useless." He was so angry. He was very rude. He was so upset because his shirt, brand new shirt, had to be changed. So what did he do? He ran up to his room and he had bought a new shirt, but now he removed the new shirt, removed the new tie, picked up another old shirt. He was so angry. He was so upset. What did he do? He put on his shirt and screaming at his wife and screaming at his son, he left the house. As he left the house, he was overspeeding because in this process, he lost 10 minutes. He was overspeeding. He didn't want the Koreans to be late because the Koreans are mad people. Sometimes they won't wait for you. So he was overspeeding. The police stopped. "Sir, you're overspeeding." He said, "Tumhara chor sala." He gave bad words to the police. "You corrupt people." The police said, "Okay, nice murga, give him a ticket." They gave him a ticket. They asked him for his license. They asked him for his documents. He was further late. He was further upset. But he drove even faster. He reached his office, and the secretary said, "Good morning, sir. The Koreans are here. They're waiting for you." He shouted at the secretary, "Shut up. What's so good about the morning? I've had a lousy morning." She said, "Shh." She said, "Sir, the Koreans are here. They're waiting for you." So he said, "Okay, the Koreans are here. Open the boardroom. Connect my laptop." So he said that. And in 2 minutes, the secretary came back and said, "Sir, there is your laptop. There is the boardroom key." So he looked. It was not there. He went to the car. It was not there. He had forgotten the laptop and the keys when he went to change his shirt because he was so angry. He was so upset. He forgot. So he told the Koreans, "My way for your friend, a few minutes, I get you nice Indian paratha. You know, Indian paratha, very good with Indian pickle and Indian curd, very good morning breakfast. We make Indian paratha. The Korean said, "No, she don't know. We don't eat paratha. We don't eat paratha. We want presentation, not paratha." The Korean said, "No paratha. We want presentation." The man was living 45 minutes away, and he couldn't go back and get it. And crores of rupees of investment, the Koreans walked out, and he lost crores of rupees of investment. Now I want to ask you the question, my dear friends. What made him lose the crores of rupees? What made him leave the laptop in his house? It was just a cup of coffee that spilled on his shirt. He could have easily said, "Oh, why do you spoil my day early in the morning?" He could have calmly, without screaming, without shouting, changed the shirt and gone without speeding, not getting late, carrying his laptop and making the presentation and getting the investment of the Koreans of crores of rupees. A small incident like a cup of coffee that spilled on his shirt was an action. The problem was not the action. The problem was the reaction. The reaction was negative. And this is called NEP. NEP is negative energy poison. In life, you must understand an important truth. 10% of life is what happens to us. 90% of life is how we react to what happens to us. That is our attitude. The problem of life is not what happens. The problem in life is how we react to what happens. And this attitude is so important. How do we control our attitude? We control our attitude through what is known as emotions. Emotion. Remember, the word emotion means motion. You know the meaning motion. And emotion means energy in motion. It's all about the energy that you live with. It's the raw material that leads to the attitude. So how do you control your attitude? Your attitude is produced by emotions. The emotions become the corn which produce the popcorn. And the attitudes create thoughts. What happened in the case of this man? He had the negative emotion of anger. He had the negative emotion of being upset. That negative emotion led to a negative attitude. The negative attitude led to negative thoughts. The negative thoughts made him leave the bag. And that led not only to negative thoughts, but even actions. So therefore, when the mind thinks compassionately, it is because of a compassionate attitude. If the mind thinks angry thoughts, it's because of an angry attitude. Emotions create attitude, attitude creates thought, thought creates feelings, feelings lead to action. Remember this. This is called the flow chart. Action doesn't happen just like that. Actions happen because of feelings. Feelings come from thoughts. Thoughts come from attitude. Attitude comes from emotions. Therefore, if your emotions are positive, your actions will be positive. If your emotions are negative, your actions will be negative. If you are happy thoughts, you feel happy, you act happy. Therefore, happiness is the right emotion. To have a happy attitude, happy thoughts, happy feelings, happy actions. But unfortunately, we don't realize this. Repetitive actions become habit. You know what is a habit? A habit is a bit and a bit and a bit and a bit and a bit. It becomes a habit. My guru, Dada J.P. Vaswani, used to always tell us how habits are formed. But habits are caused because of repetitive actions. You know, you keep on repeating actions, you keep on repeating actions, you keep on repeating actions. This becomes a habit. Unfortunately, the moment you have a habit, the habit controls your thoughts. The habit controls everything. If you look at the word habit, it's very dangerous. Because if you cut the hedge, a bit still remains. If you cut a habit, the bit still remains. If you still cut the bit, it still remains. If you cut the I, T still remains. The habit of having tea. Many people can't even start their day without having chai in the toilet. So this is how a habit works. So we have to be careful of our habits. Bit by bit, our attitudes, our thoughts, our actions, they become habits. They rule our mind. So today you're learning how to control your thoughts, how to control your attitude, how to feed the right emotions, how attitude becomes thoughts, feelings, actions, and habits, and they determine our life. So remember, this is the flow chart. It's not complicated. Don't forget. It's very simple. Emotions lead to attitude. Attitude leads to thought. Thought leads to feelings. Feelings leads to action. Action leads to habits. A positive attitude will create positive habit. It will produce positive thoughts. A negative attitude will create negative habits, will manufacture negative thoughts. So you must understand this is how our life is. If you want to control your thoughts, you must control your attitude, the way you react. So always people say, have a positive attitude, have a positive attitude. But today, we are going to go one step further. We are going to learn how to have a positive attitude. Oh, it's very easy for me to tell you, have a positive attitude, right? Coronavirus, have a positive attitude. How to have positive attitude? People are dying. No, you can have a positive attitude. How can you have a positive attitude? This is what you will learn today when you learn how to flip from NEP to PEP. There is a way to flip. And today I'm going to show you what this PEP and NEP is all about. Today I'm going to take you forward on this journey. So the point is, attitude is the raw material and the product is thoughts. So you have to understand thought will create feelings, feelings create actions, actions create habits, I hope you understand what's on your screen. It's not difficult. And if it's your attitude, you keep on having an attitude, you keep on building a habit. For example, if your attitude is angry, you get angry. If you always react, if you respond with anger, what do you build? You build an angry habit. It becomes a habit to be angry. And what does the habit of anger do? The habit again produces thoughts. So there are two ways to produce thoughts. One is through an attitude, and second is through a habit. But even the habit is created by the attitude. So understand the key. The key to your thoughts is your attitude. How to control attitude? People come and ask me, but sir, how to control attitude? How to control your reaction and your behavior? You control your attitude by emotions. This is what to understand. Emotion. Emotion means energy in motion. It's very important to control your attitude. How? Through emotion, energy in motion. This is how you control your attitude. Emotions are strong feelings, but emotion is something we choose. Just like we choose an attitude. We can choose positive emotions or we can choose negative emotions. It's up to us, whatever we want. If you want positive thoughts, positive feelings, positive attitude, positive reactions, you need positive emotions. This is called PEP. PEP, 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 P-E-P, PEP. PEP means positive energy power. I'm flashing it for you again. PEP is positive energy power. If you don't have PEP, then you fill your life with NEP. NEP is negative energy poison. See the difference? PEP is positive energy power. NEP is negative energy poison. So you have to understand the difference between PEP and NEP. There are two sets of emotions, and it is for us to decide whether we want our life to be with PEP or with NEP. And this PEP or NEP becomes the raw material which will decide your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your habits, and everything in your life. So remember this. It is in your hands to choose PEP or NEP. Let us study a few positive and negative emotions. You see, all the black emotions are negative. Let's take the first emotion, doubt. Is NEP. Flip over from doubt to faith. You flip over. Flip from doubt to faith. Flip from despair to hope. But you have to flip over from despair to hope. From hate, flip to love. From being lifeless, become enthusiastic. Don't condemn. Condemn is NEP. What is PEP? Appreciate. Don't be cynical. Be humorous. Don't be angry. Rekha, pay attention. Don't be angry. Be calm. Don't have arrogance. Arrogance is NEP. Have humility. Don't be disagreeable. Be agreeable. Don't be depressed because depression is NEP. Be cheerful. Don't live with fear. Fear is all over the world. Fear is NEP. Flip over to courage. Don't be hostile. Be friendly. Don't be greedy. Greedy is NEP. Be content. Don't be indifferent. Be compassionate. Don't be revengeful because being revengeful is NEP. Learn to forgive. Don't be pessimistic. Be optimistic. So these are some of the examples of how to move from PEP. You see all these orange emotions, they're all PEP. Move to PEP from NEP because PEP is positive energy power. These emotions create positive attitude that creates a positive thought, that creates positive feelings and positive actions. I told you, I wrote this more than probably 15 years ago. And I practiced this for more than 25 years. For since 25 years, I've eliminated these negative emotions from my life. Look at even the thought of it. Even if I tell you hate, anger, fear, depression, greedy, despair, doubt, revenge, condemn, even the talking about it creates misery, creates depression. But talk about cheerful, content, love, enthusiasm, courage, friendliness, optimism, faith, hope, appreciate, forgive. Even talking about it gives you power because PEP is powerful. PEP means positive energy power. NEP means negative energy poison. So, friends, you have to learn to flip over. The good news is it's a choice. You can choose PEP or you can choose NEP. It's a choice. You can choose positive energy power or you can choose negative energy poison. Remember this. What do these PEP and NEP do? These are emotions. Emotion, energy in motion. These emotions create attitude. The attitude creates thought. Thought creates feelings. Feelings create action. Actions create habits. The habit is caused by the attitude. And again, they create thoughts. Don't forget, habits go on further to create a character. Your character creates your destiny, and your destiny creates life. Therefore, it is your emotions that directly control your life. Don't forget this screen. If you want to take a picture of the screen, take a picture of the screen. Although we will send it to you later by WhatsApp if you like. I'm repeating to you. I'm repeating this presentation to you because this is how your life is about. It all starts with emotions. PEP or NEP. Your PEP or NEP, your emotion controls your attitude. Your attitude controls your thoughts. They control your feelings, your actions, your habits, your character, your destiny, and your life. So if you want to control your life, you control your emotions. You can control your emotion because that is a choice. You can control, you can ignore hate. You can choose love. You can choose to forgive, just as you can drop revenge from your life. So I'll be answering all your questions on how to do it today. I'm happy to answer your questions. How do you choose PEP over NEP? For many years, I used a coin. I used a coin and I used cards. I will show you this coin and cards when I come back on the presentation. I used a coin. I carried a coin. And the coin on one side had NEP and one side had PEP. And I carried the coin for more than 20 years in my pocket. And today I made cards, NEP and PEP cards. So I will share with you, yes, we will share these details of this presentation to you. We're happy to do it. But remember this, that PEP or NEP, this is a choice. And you have to be able to fill your life with this positive energy power. We have made a pack of 52 cards. And these 52 cards have got 52 black color negative emotions and 52 orange color positive emotions. Today you have discovered the secret. Today you have discovered the secret of how to choose PEP, positive energy power, over NEP, negative energy poison. You can eliminate NEP if you fill your life with PEP. But are you ready to fill your life with PEP? It's up to you. I have showed you a way where you can think positively all the time. I have showed you a way where you can live positively all the time. Friends, probably the first time in 1 year, in 52 years, I have made a complete presentation. Have you done a presentation before? Terry, have you done a presentation like this before? for the first time. Sudeep, have you done presentation before? Like this? Have you done a PowerPoint for the whole show? So the first time we are doing a PowerPoint presentation because this is to explain to you how you can flip over from NEP to PEP. How do you flip over? This was the presentation, but let me explain to you a little bit. As long as the presentation was going, I was going with the flow of the presentation. But like in every Zoom call, I like to explain to you. You can control your emotion. You can choose your emotions. Somebody was asking in between, I saw some questions. How? You can fill your glass with water. You can fill your glass with beer. It's your choice. You decide what you put into your glass. You decide what you put into your life. You want to fill your life with PEP. You want to fill your life with NEP. But remember this, whatever you choose, PEP or NEP, that becomes the raw material. It is PEP and NEP which will make you react. Sometimes you say, why somebody's attitude is so negative? You know why? Because their life is full of NEP. Their life is full of negative emotions. So if you want to react positively, if you want a positive attitude, you have to put your life, you have to make your life full of PEP. Because if you choose PEP in your life, not only will your attitude be positive, remember, it's your attitude that leads to thoughts, thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to action, action leads to habit. The entire cycle, the entire flow starts with emotions. Therefore, it's important for you to understand the flow. Don't look at somebody and say, look at him, he's behaving so badly. What is the cause of the bad reaction? What is the cause of the bad response or attitude? It is the emotion that has filled their life. We are filling our life with the raw material. Suppose there's a factory making bottles. There's a factory making bottles. You put plastic into the bottles, factory. What will come out? Plastic bottles. You will get plastic bottles. But in the same thing, if you put glass in the factory, if you put glass, what will come out? You will not get plastic bottles. You will get glass bottles. So please understand the example I'm giving you because it's very important to control the raw material we fill into our life. I was telling you, from the time I was a teenager, I carried a coin. And the coin I carried used to have on one side NEP. Can you see NEP? And I used to flip over from NEP to PEP. I used to carry a coin. First it was a bronze coin, then a silver coin, then a gold coin. I used to always carry this coin. And I used to always flip it. I used to always turn the coin and flip it. Like Amitabh Bachchan used to do in Sholay along with Dharmender. So I used to carry this coin and I used to flip. Then I made this pack of cards. This pack of cards has got PEP on one side and NEP on the other side. And in this pack of cards, we made 52 cards, 52 different emotions. And each of these 52 emotions, each of these cards have got negative emotions and positive emotions. For example, there's hate. You flip over to love. There is worry. You flip over to tranquility. There is ego. You flip over to humility. So we made 52 cards so that people could flip over. This is not pack made now. This is made 12 years back, 15 years. So don't tell me I want a pack of. This is very old. So you will tell me, why are you teaching us old stuff? Because today, for a change, I wanted to give you all a different kind of a talk today. But of course, finally, let me tell you one more interesting story before I get to the end and answer your questions. You have that image? So today, I'm going to tell you a story of a very good story of a king. Sudeep, tell me if you know this story. There was a king who had one leg and one eye. Have I told this story to you? No. Sudeep says no. Brand new story. So the king who had only one leg and one eye, but he was a very good king. He was a very benevolent king. He took care of his kingdom and he was ruling the kingdom in a very beautiful manner. One day, he went into what is called the palace galleria. The palace had a big galleria where all the treasures were kept, the trophies, the treasures, the pearls, the diamonds. In that galleria, there were paintings of the last 10 generations. So he saw the picture of his great, great, great grandfather, Maharaja, sitting with the Maharaja like that. Then he saw the next generation, the next generation, the next. Then he saw his grandfather. Then he saw his father. All had died. But the paintings were very beautiful. You know how have you seen painting of Maharajas? How the paintings are? The paintings of Maharaja sitting with a crown and the sword in the hand. Huh? Next to his father's painting, there was an empty painting, empty wall. And there were another one or two empty walls. Then he knew after his lifetime, they would put his painting. And he felt ashamed. He said, what a kind of painting will a man make with one king, one eye, and one leg? One eye and one leg. What a painting. He felt ashamed. So he said, I don't want to feel ashamed. After I die, I don't want them to put a rubbish painting. He called all the painters. He said, I want a good creative idea of painting where I will look like a good king. So all the painters said, how can we make you look like a good king when you are blind in one eye and blind and you have only one leg? What can we do? So they all had NEP. All these painters, what they had? They had NEP. One boy, one young boy, he had PEP. So one boy told the kings, Your Honor, you're such a good Raja. I will make a beautiful painting. I understand. The Raja took all the painters and showed the paintings and explained. See, I have one eye and one leg. I don't want to feel ashamed. So then this young boy, he said, give me 3 days time. I will do the painting and come. After 3 days, the palace was full and all these painters came who had full of NEP. They said, kya Raja ka ek pav hai, ek aankh hai, आधा अंधा आधा लंगड़ा. Huh? How will I be able to make a good painting? How can I show? But this boy, he made a painting and he brought this painting. What did he paint? He painted this picture of the king with a positive attitude. And make it bigger. So look at the king. He's on a horse. One leg is being seen. He doesn't have second leg, but the second leg is on that side of the horse. And look at the king. He's shooting an arrow. You know, when you close the arrow, you shoot an arrow, you close one eye, don't you? Close one eye. So he's closing one eye. Actually, he's blind by one eye, but he's closing one eye. So you can see two eyes, but one eye is closed. And the Raja is shooting the arrow, and one leg is not there because it's on the other side of the horse. So my friends, look at this, how this young boy, he had a positive attitude. He used PEP. He did not look at the other painters. They were full of depth. They were full of negative energy. But this man, he was full of PEP. So that's why we say in life, if you really want to be successful, you have to learn to fill your life with PEP. Because you can fill your life with NEP. Oh, anybody can think negative. I know so many people. I come across negative people every day, but I look through them. It is very common for me to find negative people because all the time there's negativity all around. But this negativity doesn't affect me because I'm PEP. I learned to live my life with positive energy power. I filled my life with positive energy. But so many people who come and they try to shoot negative energy on me, it just, I don't let negative energy come into my life. And today I am teaching you, you should not let negative energy come close to you. You have to learn to fill your life with positivity. And of course, a little more. So today, before I answer questions on PEP and NEP, I am going to teach you a new secret, which I wrote 2 days back when I was preparing for this talk. First step is to flip from NEP to PEP. The second step is to flip from PEP to SEP. The second step is to flip from PEP to SEP. Positive energy power to spiritual energy bliss. Spiritual energy paradise. If you really want ultimate happiness, then you must flip from NEP to PEP and PEP to SEP. Spiritual energy paradise is that paradise which is beyond all positive energy. It is a place where there is no misery. You transcend the ego. Oh, I. All the time I meet these people who are I. They're I-focused people. And when you're I-focused people, you are ego-focused people. So instead of living with an ego and being miserable, even if you have PEP, but your life is controlled by the ego, then you're in trouble. And these people who are normally ego people, they're already full of NEP. They always live with doubt. They will always see what the problem is. A person with NEP will say, God is nowhere. A person with PEP will say, God is now here. Same word. Now here becomes nowhere when PEP becomes NEP. So it's our life depends upon how we view it. You see, some people, they look at a glass and they look at the bottle and then they say, oh, beautiful, right? Nice, clean water. Some people, they put them dirty glasses. They look at dirty glasses, they say, oh, water is dirty. Is the water dirty? Water is not dirty, their glasses are dirty. Because you're putting dirty glasses, you're thinking water became dirty. Water is not dirty. So we have to learn how to flip from NEP to PEP and PEP to SEP. Let me answer your questions before I close the summary. If you want to be happy, be positive. To be positive, flip from NEP to PEP. Learn to choose PEP as the raw material of your attitudes, your thoughts. Eliminate negativity, toxins, negative habits. But if you want to follow AIR, if you want ultimate secret of happiness, then I left NEP and PEP 15 years back. I don't want to leave you that 15 years back where I was. Flip from NEP to PEP. Many of you are still in NEP, so that's why it's good to teach you this. Many people who are in this attending the Zoom call today, they are still controlled by negative energy poison. Flip from NEP to PEP and PEP to SEP. This happens with enlightenment. This happens when you realize the truth about life. Next week, I will teach you about enlightenment by explaining to you the human computer. What is next week's conversation? Next week's Zoom call is going to be the human computer. I will explain to you the human computer next week. And when you learn about the human computer, you will learn the secret of enlightenment. But for now, we will answer questions. We will go on to all the questions that you have, and one by one, we will try to answer your questions. The first question that I have is from Divya Priya. Divya Priya's question is, I would like to know the answer for the question, why should I go to the AIR Center of Enlightenment? You should not go to AIR Center of Enlightenment if you want masala dosa, because you don't get masala dosa there. If you want to go to AIR Center of Enlightenment, you should go because we only offer enlightenment. So if you want to go to AIR Center of Enlightenment, it is if you want to move on the path of enlightenment. We don't offer anything else, but you can be enlightened about happiness, about misery, about problems, about God, about purpose, about mukti, moksha, enlightenment, nirvana. There are many subjects in the AIR Center of Enlightenment, but for your information, it's still not open. It's still a concept that we are building on. And very soon we will have this, we will start this AIR Center of Enlightenment. The second question is from Gautam. How to talk with people who are rude in talking? Should I be silent to those people or else talk back to them? Gautam, today you heard about NEP and PEP. When somebody is NEP, how should you react, Gautam? You know the answer, no, Gautam? If you react with NEP, means you are making your life full of NEP. You should react with PEP. You should be positive. Because only when you are positive, then your life will be positive. If somebody else is negative, somebody else is rude, you ignore it. You don't have to react to them being rude. If I tell you listen to me saying la 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 la. So you don't listen to blah 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 blah. You listen to la 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 la. You listen to it as music. That is called being positive. Don't listen to negativity. You put a booster, a converter, and you convert it into positivity. Surinder Goyal, your question is, emotions are ultimately lead to action. So thought, attitude, thought, feeling, action, anger is an emotion. Can we use anger positively? Anger, Surinder Goyal, can never be positive. Anger can never be positive. Anger is a very dangerous emotion, Surinder Goyal. Sometime when I was in business, my guru permitted me with anger, with a warning. Surinder Goyal, he gave me a warning. I don't see Surinder on the thing. I hope he's there. So Surinder Goyal, my guru, gave me a warning. What he told me? Don't lose your temper. You can use your temper. He told, because he said he knew I'm in a business. In a business sometime, so suppose you're getting angry at somebody. Getting angry is different. But using your temper is different. How do you use your temper? You don't lose your temper. When you lose your temper, you have no control on it. You use your temper. Not from the heart, only from the mouth. Not from here, only from here. But even that is not good. So even that we should avoid. Because in spirituality, every human being is a manifestation of God. So let us avoid it. Rekha, how do we control our anger? Especially now, and our maids who have many problems, how can they be calm and think positive? Rekha, by making the maids understand that the virus will not kill us. The virus is not capable of death. You know, I think you all don't understand this virus. Most of you have the virus. Even I have tested negative, but still the virus is there in all of us. But it doesn't test because the virus is very light. We all must be having the virus. But we are not testing positive because it's not strong in us. When the CT value of the virus comes less than 30, then it tests positive. If the CT value is 40 or 50, then it tests negative. Am I right, Surinder Goyal? Am I right or wrong? CT value on the virus, if it's a very high value, then the virus load is low. And if it's a low value, then the virus load is very high. Dr. Surinder Goyal knows more about this. You should ask him. I am not so educated in the subject. But Rekha, maids are very easy to teach. But the maid will follow your role model. If you are getting angry in the house, Rekha, then the maid also will get angry. If you are calm and peaceful, the maid also will be calm and peaceful. So we should set a good role model. Because I think there's nothing better than the role model. Make the maids understand to believe in God, to trust God. Ashok Nichani, how to help a person who's in depression? By being positive. By sharing positive bhajans, songs, books, quotes, auto-suggestions. See, but the person whose depression must change. Because the person whose depression is feeding on negative attitude, on NEP. So Ashok, you can gift the person PEP. gift them a pack of PEP cards, gift them a presentation on how to flip from NEP to PEP, because you cannot change somebody else's depression. It's just like Ashok saying, can I eat food for you? Can you eat food for me and I'll and quench my hunger? Can you eliminate my hunger, or can you quench my thirst? Can you drink water for me and quench my thirst? How is it possible? So we have to understand that some people, they have chosen negativity. So we have to help them by sharing positivity. That is the only way to do it, by sharing positivity. Surinder Goyal, most of them are actions, are reflex actions. 1 time out of 10, Surinder, is reflex. What do we do repeatedly becomes habits. And we behave the same way without thinking much. It's better to have PEP, but to change from NEP to PEP needs wisdom, realization, desire, courage to change ourselves. Agreed. See, a habit takes a long time to break. Suppose you're a chain smoker, you're smoking 20 cigarettes a day. Somebody asked me, how do you change it? I said, there are only 2 ways. Either tomorrow you say no cigarette and you start eating chewing gum, replace it. Or go from 20 to 19 to 18 to 17 to 16 to 15 to 14 to 13 to 12 to 11 to 10. There are 2 ways to do it. One is a reducing method. One is a cutting method. So that's the only 2 ways to cut the habit. But I think if you fill your life, if only you learn to start filling your life from NEP to PEP, your life will change. That is the way to do it. Sagai Raj, how can we be with positive energy during sickness time? By realizing that I am not sick, only the body is sick. That's why I said, Sagai, you flip from PEP to SEP, spiritual energy paradise. When you move on the spiritual energy, you are no more the body that is sick. The person who thinks I am the body feels sick. When I was with coronavirus for last 8-9 days, I was COVID positive. I did not behave like I was sick. I did not tell one day that I'm feeling sick. But there are some people who finished coronavirus and for next 3 months, they are still saying, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. Huh? Even 3 months after coronavirus, they are still feeling sick. Why? Some people, they choose to be sick. They like to be sick. Huh? Oh, I'm sick. This is called people. There are some people who have got what is known as self-pity. Self-pity means they want people to come and say, oh, how are you feeling? Yeah. How are you feeling today? They like this pity. They like what is called a pity party. People should come and say pity party. Huh? Not kitty party, pity party. So people, a lot of people like this pity. कैसे है बेटी कैसे है आज तुम? मेरी बेटी बिटिया कैसे है आज? You would like this feeling. So this is not a good thing. Sanjay Bagal, what is Shivoham? Seems to be a new person. Sanjay Shivoham means Aham. I am Shiva. The real meaning of Shivoham means I am not this body. I am not the mind. I am the divine soul. I am Atma. I am Paramatma. I am Krishna. I am Shiva. I am Jesus. I am the God. I am the Lord. The energy in me, the power in me is who I am. That is the meaning of Shivoham. Adi Shankara said, Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. If you go on our website or if you study this Adi Shankara, you will find more, or take my number. My number is flashed on the chat. Dear Mr. Sanjay Bagal, I will be happy to explain to you the meaning of Shivoham. It needs 1 hour to explain. Gaurish, we get to see many toxic people, how to be positive with them. Hey, let the people be toxic now. You don't let the people have toxic energy. You be positive. If somebody is negative, does it mean you also should be negative? So somebody asked me the question, what to do when I'm passing by my house and the corporation truck comes to clean the totti. Totti is the place where all the garbage is, they clean it. So I said, what do you do? He says, every day when the garbage truck comes, I stand there and I watch them taking the garbage. I said, then what happens? He said, full dirty smell. I said, why are you watching them taking the garbage? What? He said, no, I don't know. I'm a habit. Every time I watch them taking the garbage and then lot of dirty smell. I said, you stand 1 hour more. Then you will enjoy more. Then you will get the perfume of that smell in your life. So next time when that garbage, when they're coming to clean the garbage, you don't stand there. You go away. Why should you stand there? So Vipul Raj, when I'm alone or leisure, negative thoughts come in the mind. How can we control it? Dear Vipul Raj, negative thoughts are coming because I explained in the presentation. Thoughts are like popcorn. You will get salted popcorn if you feed salted corn. You feed PEP, Vipul Raj, you will get positive thoughts. You are getting negative thoughts because you have not fed PEP. Your life has been fed by NEP. So today I have taught you something new. It is not an AiR subject, but I have taught you to move from NEP to PEP, and spiritually you move to SEP, spiritual energy paradise. That is what I wanted to get you to. But today for a change, because the whole world is full of NEP. All around you there is NEP. So today I decided I will teach you. People are living with fear. Fear is NEP. Death is not controlled by corona. Death is controlled by the divine. Yesterday, my director, she came to me and said, I have some sad news. So I said, what happened? She said, my nephew, 27-year-old, he died. So what did I tell her? Straight away what I told her? Corona. I told her, COVID. She said, no, not COVID. I said, what happened? She said he was standing outside his house in the night. He slipped from the bike. He fell down. There was a small stone. It touched his head. By morning, he was bleeding inside. In the morning, he was dead. Where was Corona? Real story. Happened 2 days back. Where was Corona? No, there's no Corona. This life and death is in the hands of the divine. We human beings don't understand it. Because we don't understand it, we are always living with NEP. We are not living with PEP. Veena Chainani, how are you feeling now? Oh, I'm always feeling great, Veena. Whenever somebody asks me how I'm feeling, I say I'm great and grateful. Huh? Some people, instead of being great and grateful, they remain ungrateful. Then what happens? If you remain ungrateful, then what happens? You always look at what you don't have in life. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. You'll always be ungrateful. So Veena, whenever somebody asks you, how are you? What we say, answer, say, I'm great and grateful. Huh? One man, they asked one man, you have no shoes. Don't you feel sad? You had no shoes. Veena, you know what the man said? The man said, I had the blues because I had no shoes. I had the blues because I had no shoes until upon the street I saw a man who had no feet. I had the blues because I had no shoes until upon the street I saw a man who had no feet. Let us learn to count our blessings. We human beings, we don't know to count our blessings. Because we don't count our blessings, you know what we are doing? We are counting our troubles. Because we have to count something. You don't count your blessings, you're counting your troubles. So your choice. Harsh Agarwal, can you please repeat a short summary of today? Okay. Harsh Agarwal comes with sometimes requests which are acceptable. So today we will fulfill his request. Today's summary is this, Mr. Harsh Agarwal. In our life, we can choose NEP or PEP. NEP and PEP are emotions. NEP is negative energy poison. They are toxic emotions. PEP is positive energy power. They are positive, nourishing emotions. This NEP or PEP, these emotions are the raw material. Based on this raw material, the product is your attitude. Your attitude, positive or negative, directly influences your thought. If you have positive attitude, there are positive thoughts. If you have negative attitude, there are negative thoughts. So every time you react positively, you react with positive thoughts. So when you have PEP, positive emotion, lead to positive attitude, lead to positive thoughts. These lead to positive feelings, positive actions, positive habits, positive character, positive destiny, positive life. If you're having a negative life, go backwards. your negative life, your negative destiny, your negative character, your negative habits, your negative actions, your negative feelings, your negative thoughts, your negative attitude is because of your negative emotions. I've taken you backwards. I know this by heart because many of you don't pay attention to your attitude, so you keep on reacting badly. Some people, you talk to them nicely, they'll do, their attitude only is negative. Why their attitude is negative? Because they are full of NEP. And their attitude is negative, then their thoughts are negative. Their thoughts are negative, feelings are negative. Feelings are negative, action is negative. Action is negative, habit becomes negative. If habit is negative, character is negative, life is negative, destiny is negative. So your life is in your hands. So Harsh Agarwal, the summary is, if you want to control your life, control your thoughts. To control your thoughts, control your attitude. To control your attitude, control your emotions. What is Kundalini awakening? Prabhakar, how can I achieve it? Go to a Kundalini teacher. They will teach you how to do Kundalini yoga. I am not a physical coach. I am a spiritual guide. So Kundalini is to do with the energy of the body. There are different Kundalini. There are different points in the body, chakras. So the lowest chakra is at the base level, at the genitals. The highest chakra is up here, Sahasrara chakra. So in Kundalini, you raise your chakras and you go up and up and up, right? They say that the chakra and up to the head also. The different analogies of this chakra business. But I believe that when you realize the Atma is the Paramatma is in every cell, then you don't have to worry about this chakra business. So you go beyond it. Neha, if one has led their life or her life, his or her life in NEP for 20 years, how to make the flip after so long? Neha, by a single flip, you can flip from NEP to PEP. If it's 20 years, it doesn't matter. You can flip now. You can flip now. You can empty the container of NEP and start filling the container with PEP. Somebody sent me a beautiful video. In the video, they show how there's a container full of junk and how to empty this junk. If you pour a pipe of water and you keep on pumping the water into the negative junk, all the junk will come out in a matter of few minutes and the container will have pure water. So you flush out, Neha, you flush out the NEP and you live your life with PEP. Why did I choose this topic, my friends, today? Because many of you come across NEP and your life is not positive. Many of you are not happy because you let depression, negativity, doubt, all these things, you let them occupy your life. And if you are NEP, then very difficult for you to go to PEP and SEP. We want you to flip not to PEP. We want to go next after PEP. We want SEP. We want you to experience spiritual energy paradise. How do you get to the spiritual energy paradise? When you transcend pain of the body, misery of the mind, agony of the ego. You're worried about this body that will die. Every body has to die. Why do you worry about it? You are miserable because of the mind. Realize you can find the mouth, the nose, the ears, but where is the mind you cannot find? The mind is an illusion. The mind doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's mithya. The ego that says I, me, and mine, it makes you so miserable. It makes you agonized. When will you let go of the ego? Because the moment you let go of the ego, you will discover the truth and you will discover peace and bliss and joy. So today I wanted you to learn. I wanted you to transcend the triple suffering of the body, the mind, and the ego. And I wanted you to reach that state of eternal bliss and everlasting peace. Yes, you can. It's your choice. And it's up to you. Next week, I will show you how to do that, how to reach that state of SEP. I will teach you next week the human computer. So what am I going to teach you next week? Discover the truth about the human computer. What is this human computer? This I will explain to you next week because it is important for you to understand that this is what you must know how the human computer works. And this we will tell you next week. For now, all of you who have been on this call today, Sanjay Das, thank you. Sudeep, Margaret, welcome and thank you for being on this call. Kumar Swami, Siva, Namaskara, thank you for being on the call. Ashok Maheshwari, welcome and thank you. Rajendra Bhagwana, Prabhakar, Rajaratnam, Veena, Ashok Nichani, hope Hema is good. Vipul, Sangam Gupta, Komal, I can't see you. Janvi, Kishan, Hitkari, Rais, Samita Gupta, thank you for being on the call. Gautam, Sagai Raj, Girish and Amma, Ruchika Singh, Sachin, Surinder Goyal, Srinivasa, and the rest of you. I can't see you, but Srikant, I now see you. Deepanshu, Rajan, thank you for being on the call. And I look forward to you joining this call again and again. Rekha Parvani, Ravindran, week after week. Motkula Anand, I look forward to having you on this call again and again. Thank you.